quick lick, we're going to cover that piece in E that you just heard. Now, this works great as a 4-bar section that you can slot into back porch blues. In fact, instead of playing the tab that's written there in the course for the first 4 bars of level 3, go ahead and give this a try just to add some variety. Maybe run around another course with this as the first 4-bar block. Let's get into the instruction here. Okay, so we're going to start things off with an E bass played with the thumb, and then on beat 2 we're going to slide up to the B on the 3rd string. On the and of 2, hit that D note 3rd fret of the 2nd string. That's giving us that nice dominant 7 sound. And really that's all there is to the first measure here. Just some quarter note bass pulses, that dead thumb bass, 1, 2, 3, 4. And on beat 2 we slide and then we pick up on the and of 2 on the D. 1, 2, and 3, 4. Then we move on to the second measure, and we're going to get up here into train whistle territory. And this is going to be slightly different from how you may have used the train whistle lick in the past. We use it a lot, it's used a lot in the blues, but usually we use it as kind of a device, a tactic almost, to get us from this section of the fretboard back down to home base. Works great because we've got those open strings. We don't have to do anything on the fretboard after we play through that train whistle sound. What we're going to do here is utilize this sound and then stay in this sort of position right here. Okay, so we start with the bass on the downbeat, and then on the and, that's when we start the train whistle move. So we've got 1 and, that's the B note on the 1st string. Then we're going to do a triplet here. The G, we're going to push that up slightly for that sort of rest of the train whistle sound. And remember that starts a triplet, so we've got 1 and 2 triplet. This is what's a little bit different. Instead of dragging through and hitting that open 2nd string, we're going to hit the open 1st string and then the D note on the 3rd string here, 7th fret. So that can take a minute to get down because you're moving from this fret over, well, the same fret, the 7th fret, but you're jumping strings here, okay? And it's quite okay when you put down on that D to mute out. It might happen naturally, but I think it sounds really cool here to not let that E just ring like crazy, this from the train whistle. So when you put down on the D, it's okay to choke down and mute out that E. But that D rounds out the triplet. And then we're going to get back into playing 8th notes. So we've got 3 and 4 and. Okay, so that's 9, 7 for B, A, and then we're going back to G and then E, and that's on the and of 4. So this measure sounds like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. And I'm doing one extra thing there to that G when we get there. That's the minor 3rd of E. And that major 3rd is just begging to be heard, but we want to keep this nice and bluesy, so we're going to really douse this in some blues by doing a blues bend on that minor 3rd. When I say blues bend, that's just bending and just pulling that slightly sharp. We're not even really going to get pitch-wise all the way to the G sharp, but we're just going to hint at it and really go to the root, the E here on the 5th string instead. And we're going to treat the B note with something a little bluesy as well. We're going to do one of these little hammer-on with a pickup deals right here. You're going to hear this a lot in the blues, and instead of just going straight to our B right here, what we can do is hammer from 1 fret lower, a half step lower, hammer up to the B. And that's actually a really cool spot because right out of the blues scale. So we're starting from this flatted 5th note up to B, which is the 5. Okay, but it's quick. This hammer happens really quick, so it's going to be, you need to think of it more as a pickup note, because you really want to hear the beat. That's the note that needs to stand out when you're playing, but you can dress it up just a little bit by getting there from a half step low. All right, so you put all those things together, you got a pretty bluesy little sequence there. And what we're going to do for the next measure is really just play with this minor third and the E. All right, so what's happening there is we're starting out with our bass and we're giving that a full quarter beat. And then we launch into a triplet and we're going to really toggle back and forth between the minor third, G, and our E root here on the 5th string. But we're going to give this first G that nice blues bend. And then when we return, you can kind of choke this out a little bit, because we're going to play a pair of 8th notes where we go back to the G, this time with the bend, and then the E, before finishing up with a triplet, A, G, E. So that measure, we'll play it slowly, looks like this. And that E, that low, we just can return right back to a full bar of nothing but bass, just that dead bass with a palm mute on there. And then you're ready to move on through. So if you're working this into back porch blues, you're ready to move yourself into the A chord. But let's play through what we've got here slowly. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, I hope you dig this lick. Really, it's a set of little licks that you could pull apart and put into your playing in different spots, and definitely give this a shot as a replacement for the first 4 bars in back porch blues, particularly if you've made it through level 3. This can be something to even up your game a little bit more. So have some fun with this one, and I'll see you in the next lesson. And until then, play on.